Again, everybody say, just you hear me now? You guys all hear me, right? Wait 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, so like this, everybody say. Today's the day we have to be kaveh masmerim. We have to put nails in the sugya, and let's a lot of this fake is that we spoke about, and a lot of different shilas that we spoke about. Today's the day, Mitzvah Hashem, that we have to try to clarify, and then we got to start moving weiter. Already klishmach leheter, and we have to start moving weiter. So like this, we'll work backwards. Things we spoke about yesterday, going all the way backwards to get back to the shilas about when you have to avoid using klishmach leheter v'chadayim. So first of all, one issue is interesting shaila. Somebody asked me this, can I give it's related to yesterday's shaila. Can I give the guy knocks on the door. What's the guy's name? Leroy. He knocks on the door. Leroy's very big very big guy. He knocks on the door and he says, your car is in my driveway. Your car is in my driveway. And Leroy doesn't deal well with other people's car in his driveway. It's like, mamish like kaifin amid distoyim. It's like this much. What does he have to make such trouble for? But he's very upset about it and he's causing trouble. Your car is in his driveway. You say, Leroy, today it's the Sabbath, and I can't move my car, right? So Leroy says, okay, just give me the keys and I'll move the car myself. Right? And Leroy is a very honest guy, and you're not afraid he's going to take the car and drive away, right? He stopped doing that years ago, and you're not worried at all. So now, could you bring him the car keys? Certainly, you don't want to let Leroy into the house. Leroy's a scary-looking person, and all the children will have nightmares and whatever. So could you pick up the car keys and hand him the car keys that he can drive the car? He can drive the car. Sounds like a weird shaila, no? Sounds like a really weird shaila. What's a car key? A car key is a kli shemalachta le'iser. Let's what? Let's that he shouldn't, slash your tires, and that's chamal itself. I don't know. Or is it, klishal machtal yeser? Let's what? Let's gufay what? Gufay the keys to do an iser. Klishal machtal yeser to move the keys, right? What? So I don't know. The only thing you can maybe say over here is that maybe somebody extremely aggressive. It's not my style to be that aggressive. Is to say it's a klisha malachta le'iser. Again, the car keys are klisha malachta le'iser. Okay, we accept that. And it's a tzarech mekoymai. What makim of the keys? No, it's enabling the makim of something else. What makim? The makim underneath the car. The makim underneath the car. Is that called a klishim? Is that called a klishim lachta iser? The makom in the car. It's a very unique case, right? In other words, usually we move a muksa in order to enable a makom to be stam. I can reach something. The makom is blocked. I need the makom. I need to sit in the makom. Sometimes you can even have a makom that we saw yesterday. A makom is being ruined. We went so far as to discuss cases of where a lady says, "I'm not going to walk into that makom." So it's a klishim lachta iser. It's the makom. Okay. Here, it's very unique. It's first of all, I'm not even moving the klishim lachta iser itself for its own makom. Right? I'm moving the klishim lachta iser. I couldn't think of a good mashal of this, but this was the mashal I thought. But it's a klishim lachta iser that I'm moving it not for its makom, but to enable some other makom. It's a first cousin of the shilas that we spoke about. It's a klishim lachta iser. I'm moving the fan for the makom of the fan. No, I move the fan so that I can have the makom that the fan was ruining. The fan was ruining this area. So it's a klishim lachta iser. So. What? Elamai, but the problem is, we saw yesterday that it's a klishim lachta iser, it's tzarech of the Yisrael's makom, but not that of a goy, not of the tzarech of the usage of a goy, right? The chayah, and the chayah over here, who needs the makom over here? The one that needs the makom over here is the goy. The goy needs the makom over here. Yesh ladin, if somebody would be, what? maybe you could do a Rama, says Rabbi Cooper. He says, and then afterward you'll just you decide that you want to stand over there, and that's where you like to stretch. You're going to go in that place, and you're going to stand. You're going to klishmach that market. Maisa, with that type of logic, we can uproot all of muksa. Maybe we'll have to see. If you're going to go, we know there's a concept of harama. We saw already the Mishabur and Sivkat and Tezayin. He taught us already that harama works when it comes to klishmach liyasir, that you can create a necessity. We have to explain that in Mitzvah Shem today. But I'll say I need that market. Or do I say, look, maybe you could say even more aggressive. I do need that market. I need that makim, because if that makim is filled with my car, so then something bad will happen to my car. But that sounds like Chamel Itzel. That sounds like Klishim Malach Isser, that he shouldn't go and. But he's not going to slash your tires. He lives next door. So he's just going to be angry with you. He's going to be not nice to you. It's going to be. Imagine every time you walk down the street now, you have to see Leroy. It was bad enough before you had this incident. Right. So now you're gonna have to walk down the street, and every time you see him, he's gonna give you a face and everything. It's gonna be very uncomfortable. So what is that? It's not a klishim lachtal iser l'tzayrich. The car. It's not for the car. It's not the car. Okay, but I don't know what darkei shalom is. I don't know if there's it's not a klishim lachtal iser b'makom darkei shalom. You know. Oh, I'm saying so. It's like a klishim. This is related to all the ergation that we spoke about yesterday. I need to move the muksa, because without me moving the muksa, I'm going to have a very bad feeling the whole entire Shabbos. A very bad feeling the entire Shabbos doesn't seem to be enough of a reason to move muksa. Doesn't seem to be enough. So I don't know. Is there anybody that can connect this to the makim and show that I need it for the makim without doing a rama, because a rama we didn't get to yet? Is there any way we can make this makim into a? Sorry. Oh, that would bother me less. If my alarm was going, it was ironic. I was thinking that, not ironic, but ironic meaning mitzad the nafkamina. I was thinking like I was saying also. Let's say my alarm is going off, right? So to get the guy, anyways, it could be you're allowed to get the guy mitzad shvus to shvus b'makim. It could be shvus to shvus to get him to turn off the alarm, because the alarm turning off is a shvus, and it's Amir Lakim is a shvus, and it's Makim Tzar Gadol. Your alarm is going off. It's driving everybody in the neighborhood. It's driving everybody crazy. Okay, so but Lamaisa, you want to hand the guy the car keys, right? So it's okay. So in the normal case, you'll just tell the guy come in and take the car keys. But let's say in Lumdis, can I bring the car keys to the guy? Is that klishim malachta the here? Rabbi Singer says, "Sorry, Kufa." I would have said maybe it's Tzarech Mekaymai. It's Pashut ruining the whole entire Makim. The alarm going off, the whole entire neighborhood is being ruined, right? The whole entire neighborhood is being ruined. So I would have said that's a klish l'machtal iser. Maybe it's a tzarech makim. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe that bothers me less. I'm moving the car keys in order to enable a makim to not be gesteret. That the whole makim is gesteret. What? A different makim. It's the klish l'machtal iser is enabling a makim to be panui and gesteret. But by us over here, it's like what? It's a klish l'machtal iser. I don't hear it. Somebody told me this case and told me that somebody wanted to be makel on this far, but I don't know what she was thinking. But no, it sounds to me like it's a klishim malachta liyitzer b'makim tzarich of the car, tzarich of bad feelings, tzarich of I could take out my violin also, but I don't think it's mutter. What? What's gufay? It's a klishim. The gufay of a davar isser. That's an isser. No, that gufay means when you're using it to do a davar mutter. Of course, it's not when you're doing a davar isser. I can take it when I take a hammer. I'm a Rosh on Shabbos. I take a hammer and I go and knock in nails. I wasn't over on a klish machal isser also. The Goin says that they'll burn the person in Gehenna even for not, having chatzitzas taken off of his hands before he washed the Netilas Yadayim for the bread that he ate, which was treif. Get him on everything. What? Okay, but that we saw yesterday that has to be a tzarech of Yisrael. I can't give a goy a hammer that he should go and knock in a nail. I also can't give the guy the car keys to go and. So I don't see why this could be much. I tried very hard, as you're seeing. I'm working together, but I don't see why. What? Yeah, okay. So Harama we didn't get to yet. It's not even a Rama. What? You don't really need the spot because you didn't, for some reason, why the toy wasn't there in the first place. But okay, I'm saying let's see. Let's get to Rama before we ask Shiloh's on Rama. We got to get there. What? That's not a mir lakim you're asking. It's not a mir lakim. There could be a makom to be makom. It's not a mir lakim. I'm saying, but mitzad arsegel. That's number one. Number two is that lefi this type of alumnus, lefi this vein, going in this type of a logic. So now I want to give the kid on Shabbos the kid is going nuts. He's going nuts. That's like Americans say. It means like he's going pasha bonkers, and he's going bonkers. This kid. So now you know that there's a certain toy that this kid likes. You know there's a certain toy this kid likes, and that toy is a muksa toy, right? Does everybody know that toy I'm talking about? You know, there's like a toy. Every kid has that one, and that's the one thing that can calm him down. Now, are you allowed to give it to the kid mamish on Shabbos in general? So there could be this isser of safina and biyadayim, which is not our sugya, to actually put in the hands of a child to do an isser. That's a Shulchan Aruch and Shimon Gimel talks about. I can't give a kid, treif to eat. I can't put it in his hand. And I also can't give him, when let's say somebody, the lights are off and whatever. So what do so you don't have a Shabbos collect. So what do you do? So you have little anshul, right? So you pick up anshul, you got to pick him up and go like this and hold him by the light and put him close to the light. So that the place can say, you're not allowed to do that because you're putting in front of him. What you could do is maybe you put him on your shoulder and then you just focus somewhere else and he's, flapping away until he turns it on. So you didn't put in front of him to do the isser. He did it on his own. Okay. But you can't give a child to do an isser. That's called safina, and it might even be an isser deraisa. Yeah? So I'm not talking about giving it to the child to say it's mamish, putting it in his hand. But the toy is up there on a shelf or whatever. And is there an isser for a 1.5-year-old, a 2-year-old to play with isurim and shab? No, he's not a bar chinuch. I just can't give it to him. Okay, so am I allowed to take it down from the shelf, put it on the floor, and now he'll be able to get it on his own. And then he's not going to make everybody so crazy. Okay, that's an example. It's a good example. What? I'm saying, if you put him, I'm not talking, I want to know mitzad moksa. Can I say it's a klisha malachti l'isser? What's the toy? Does anybody know what toy I'm talking about or no? That's a good example of this. What? No, because it might be mother. What? You have a toy? No, who just got married to Shani Rishon? Some of you have these toys. So, who has it? What? No, not your wives. I'm saying they're younger and everything. Right? Who has a toy? No, Rabbi government. What could you think of? Like a blender, a mixer. What? No, see? Oh no, he just had a baby. No, so what is the kid like? All right. I can put in a rattle. There's a whole shaila about a rattle. Okay, a rattle. Because rattle, you're not allowed to rattle in front of a kid. Because it's a kliya miyucha to make noise. So you're not allowed to go and shake the rattle. That's a ganza shaila. Okay, so you got me in the place where I didn't, okay. A rattle, fine. So let's talk about a rattle. So can I take the rattle and put it down on the floor and the kid is going to pick it up and he's going to rattle himself? For you to shake the rattle is a problem because it's a kliya miyuchad for noise. And not only that, it's probably a kliya shlach al yeser. What? It's a shaila. It's probably, it's not good to get into a rattle because rattle's a whole shaila. No, it's a whole shaila rattle, but he's machmir taket, right? Come on, let's not talk about rattle. That's why dafka, even though that'd be the easiest case, but rattle's a bit of a shy. Okay, we can talk about a rattle. Some hold that a rattle's muksa, right? Some hold the rattle's muksa. But sometimes you have these toys that mamish make music and they play all types of all types of weird songs and everything, right? So now you put it in front of the kid. What? Like a what? Like a little baby piano. Okay, very good. His child kind of likes that. So you take a little baby piano, you put it in front of the baby, and now the kid is going to walk right over it, and he's going to start playing with chopsticks, with Shakespeare, and with the other Shakes. What was his name? The other anti-Semite. No, he was stam deaf. What? No, the anti-Semite. No, he's a woman or a man or something. I don't mean it. No, the one Bach or some other anti-Semite. What? No. It's a whole shaila about this Yana character. I don't know. Anyways, the kids are. So you put in front of him the piano, and now he goes and he starts playing, Mordechai ben Shweki, okay? He's mamish knocking away this guy, okay? So now, but you didn't give it to him. So can I take it down? It's a klisha malach iser, l'tzarech, what? L'tzarech, well, you could say the kid is ruining the makim, I think it's pushing her. Let's say it's a tzarech kufay. That the child, he's not doing any iser, he's allowed to. This is, you have to read the Mishnah Berurah very well on this. Mishnah Berurah Sivkat and Lamed Daled. So Mishnah Berurah says, when he talked about Yened Ner, that the child brought to shul and whatnot, so Mishnah Berurah says like this. He says, there are some people, they give to a goy, that the goy should take the candle and light it for himself. The same Mishnah Berurah that we spoke yesterday, Lamed Daled. So they give the Mishnah Berurah, they give the goy a candle. Here's the candle. They give Leroy the hammer. That you're not allowed to do. Why not? Talk to Mishnah Berurah. He says, Tayin, Ein mutal atal de klishim nachla yiser, ela kishet sarich limkoima shalakeli. I need the place of the kli. I should tzarech Yisrael legufay shalakli. The Israel needs the goof of the kli, the shtamish by a dover hamuter b'Shabbos. There's a lot of extra ink in this Mishnah Berurah. I could have said it much simpler. If you're a maimin that every one of these drops of ink is precious and you have to sit Shiva Nikiyim on them, so then you believe that Mishnah Berurah is telling you something here. Mishnah Berurah just said it's got to be a dover hamuter on Shabbos. Now I know that the child is allowed to do this, and so is the guy. And so it means not like that. It means something that we consider to be mutter, which means that the kid is just not responsible for his actions. But it's the dover mutter to do on Shabbos, right? Sounds like from this Mishnah Berurah, this would be a problem. This would be a problem, is that you're taking, if I had to explain it in the lumdis that we said the other day, here it's misyaches to the isser aspect of the kli. You remember what we spoke about? There's one aspect of the kli, which is the mutterdika aspect of the kli. I use the hammer to pry open the window in a case where it's not an isser, let's say, right? Like our case over here, that's my example always. Right? So I use the hammer to pry open the window. That's a mutterdika aspect of the keli. But klape all isurim. That's why chamal itself we said is also because it's misyaches to the chelik ha'isser shebakeli. What is it when you're saving the item? You're saving what the item is oimid for. What's the item oimid for? It's oimid for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the chelik ha'isser of the kli. So when you're misyaches to the chelik of the isser of the kli, like saving a hammer in general. Why do 99% of the time I use the hammer for isser? So therefore, what is a hammer? It's a dover which is isser. So when you're klishim, you're never allowed to be metaltalit when it's misyaches to the aspect of the isser shabai. So here also, the fact that the kid is going to do it and not get an avera doesn't make it that it's not misyaches to the chelik isser shabai. That's the chayim first in the Mishnah Berurah, and that you have to know. It's also taka. It's also the rattle is a complicated thing. I'm going to get to rattle. Pleinator. Don't get nervous. Pleinator will get to rattle. Rattle is a little bit of a shiloh because rattle. It's in the chayil, and it's not such a clear isser. There might be a situation where you're even allowed to rattle, and as a shiloh, what exactly is the isser of a rattle? So that's why it's a complicated. But our case, right? Rabbi raised little They're good or no? Do we know that they're good? Yeah, they're good. Okay, so the shaila was that can I move something for a tzarech of later on? Okay, in other words, it's a gufay in essence, right? Because I'm really moving the hammer so that later on I'll be able to move. I'll be able to use the hammer. How do we done this in halacha? I'm moving the hammer so that later on I'll be able to use the hammer in the later on. Later on, Oifin. What's this? So there's a tila l'David. Oh, you have a mishaburi. You were saying. I'm sorry. Not mamish. No. Tazayin now moved. There was a chafal from a minute ago. Okay, it's related. Over here I have a Mishnah Berurah that says that I'm allowed to move something may chamel itself, even if that's my ikar kavana. It's my ikar kavana, but even though it's my ikar kavana, it's chamel itself. But I have some other side cheshbon also why I want to move it, which will get us into the parsha of Harama. Here's even better. Here, the reason I'm saving it is something which is directly Messiaches to Shabbos. In other words, till now when we spoke about all types of shilas, we were always talking about shilas that are not directly Messiaches to Shabbos. Now we're talking about something that he's saving the hammer, not just for Tuesday, he's saving the hammer for Shabbos. So therefore, that's a klish l'akol yetzer, which is Messiaches to a shimush of Shabbos. It's like an extension of the gufa of what I'm going to use it for later on. This is not the first in the Mishnah Berurah. The Tila David says this case is mutter. This case is mutter. And you'll see what I'm building up to. What? Come again? Let's see. I'm not sure if that's true. It's something. That's the wall. He wants to say that if this, it should be mutter to save the crayon, to remove the crayons from the kid's hand. But it's not the muck. There's no such thing as the muckim of the wall. The wall will just be ruins. It's not. There's a muckim is the wall is ruined, but it's not making the muckim usable or unusable. It's just saving. Till now, every muckim that we spoke about, every muckim we spoke about was usable or unusable, right? It was blood. Maybe fine, but drawing on a wall is just something that's going to make me upset. It's going to bother me. The bother that we saw, bothers not. Al Kapanim. So if I say, "Das steht Tila David," I'll tell you one more chiddush before we go into back to our cases. And Tila David doesn't talk about this case. What if it's just a suffix? Your window might be closed all day because who knows? These leaders could be busy for the whole day, right? So it's only a suffix if I'm going to need to use it later. What do you say about that? A suffix? Can I move a kli shemalachta le'isser from chamel itself? From to save it, wherever, because I might need it later on. Not a fake case that I might. It's a good chance or whatever, the chance I'll need it later on, but not bad I'll need it later on. What do you say to that? Is that mutter or aser? What do you say? Why according to us? Because why? No. The way we're setting it up. That's why I said it's not first. The way we're setting it up, it's a dafzayin mutter. It should be mutter. Why? Because the way we're setting it up is what he's doing is not for Moitei Shabbos. He says, look, if it's only for Moitei Shabbos, I wouldn't do it. I'm telling you, there's a chance that I might need it on Shabbos. Let's say temes. I'm not saying, with narishkai and luxury. There's a chance that he might actually need it on Shabbos. If there's a chance that he might need it on Shabbos, so then already he's not doing it for the weekday. I don't see that such a thing should be. Also, we're going to use this in a moment to perhaps help us. What? The what? That's just saving. You want to say saving the market? Maybe that might be like the crayon. That's what Rabbi the Frutiger is trying to say also. What? It's interesting. Saving the market. Interesting. Okay, let me think of that. Okay, it could be also Pekuach Nefesh. We can throw out the whole Pekuach Nefesh. Okay. What? Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of a different sugya. Yeah, okay. But here I need to make it into a gufa. I'm using it as far as within milksa. Okay. Now, if I say one last thing, is I saw in the Orcha Shabbos, he brings down. I mentioned yesterday Rabbi Kiva Eger, that Rabbi Kiva Eger said that you can give a chassan a present. You give a chassan a present because it's a kli shemalachta le'isser tzarech gufay. What's a tzarech gufay? What's a gufay? that the simcha and the pleasure and the enjoyment of the chassan, that he gets his present, okay? That's called also a tzorech gufa, which is a very big chiddush, right? Here you're seeing that emotions is yes something that we take into consideration. Very big chiddush, massive chiddush. I saw in the Rosh Hashanah that he brings it down klape yontif. When he writes it in his sefer, he says you're allowed to give someone a present on yontif for simchas yontif. So it intrigued me because that's not what Rabbi Akiva Eiger says. I looked inside Rabbi Akiva Eiger. It's interesting. It got me all thinking. Taka, a very strange thing. Taka to say that if I can give somebody a hammer on Shabbos because it'll make him happy. Right? I could bring the guest a present of a Kli Shema Kol Yisrael. It's going to make him happy. I'll bring this little baby piano to Rabbi Ray because I know it's going to make him happy. Maisa, it's interesting. I'm not 100% sure what to do with this. I understand what the Rosh Hashanah is, why he said what he says now. And I understand something's going on over here. I'm not convinced, but Rabbi Akiva Eiger brings a raya from Simchas Yontif. On Shabbos, there's no mitzvah Simcha. It's got a mitzvah to go into Shabbos b'Simcha. It says in the Mishnah Berurah. The Shulchan Aruch says that before Shabbos, you're supposed to be simcha that Shabbos is coming. But on Shabbos itself, there's no mitzvah simcha. It's a mitzvah voinik. Yontif, there's a mitzvah simcha. That's why there's basar v'yayin on Yontif. On Shabbos, there's no mitzvah. There's no mitzvah. I mean, there's a mitzvah. There's no chiyuv of basar v'yayin on Shabbos. So Shabbos is no mitzvah of simcha. That's why there's a veilus on Shabbos, whatever. So Yontif, there's no veilus. So Yontif, there's a mitzvah of simcha. If you find the concept of simcha, I mentioned to you once that you can move muksa to makom simcha. I mentioned to you once, if you need the Coke and the Coke is behind the washing detergent or something like that, so then you're allowed to move muksa in order to get to real muksa, in order to get to the Coca-Cola. That's what we spoke about. So he says that to give he brings a raya from a Taisvis in Beya, which is talking about giving a present on Yontif, and you're getting the mitzvah of Simchas Yontif by giving the present. That's where Rabbi Akiva Eiger is coming from. Of them zot Rabbi Akiva Eiger. So therefore you can give the chassin a present because of the mitzvah of simchas chassin. So first of all, I realized that the way I said it yesterday is probably incorrect. I don't think you can stam give a present. I don't know what I said yesterday. I said you can give stam a present. And if I made it sound like you can give stam a present, we don't have a raya anymore. It sounds like you have to be getting some mitzvah deraisa of simcha. So we know there's a simchas chassin, that's a mitzvah deraisa. I don't know deraisa, maybe derabbanan. But my point is, there has to be more than just making someone happy. And it bothered me, Taka, because making someone happy is the same idea as making somebody not sad, which we saw yesterday. It's not something that we consider to be a tzorech of the kli. So I understand, Taka, the Rosh Hashanah says only yontif. It's not just only yontif. You should say any place where there's a simcha, but it's rare to find the case. It's going to be a yontif present. You could bring a Kli Shema Kol Yisrael on yontif. You could bring a chassan a present on first ofruf or whatever. Anybody have another case of simcha? Say shalom bayis, I'll throw you out. What? I don't know. It's a mitzvah to make someone happy. Yeah, I know, but that's what comes off. Okay, everything I do with a mitzvah. I'm an Uncle Moshe kind of guy, right? What? Yeah, okay. Like an Aaron Akai, you're a Kayan. He's a Kayan. He's a Kayan. You're Dakin. You're not Kayanim. He's a Kayan. I can make people happy, right? I don't know. What? Lias b'simcha tamid? What are you talking about? Because there's no mitzvah to be b'simcha tamid. It says in the first simon that he's called the call maitzer v'yoshemayim there's doig al chorban not to be b'simcha. What are you talking about? Tamid to be b'simcha? How can you say that? What? Remind me of a bar. Remind me of a bar. Somebody asked me a shaila. He said to me, "What's a pshat?" Because Baruch Hu tells from Avinu that he has no kids and it's such a bad matziv and don't worry, now you're gonna have a kid and whatever. So somebody asked me, right? He's actually an Arab. I get asked shaila from Arabs sometimes. An Arab worker who's fluent and so he asked me a shaila. What do you mean you had to shmile? You had to shmile? That's a shaila. It's a shaila. Yeah, a big shaila. By him, it's a big shaila, right? So when he walked away, I told him, I'm a big shaila. But when he walked away, I told him, I told the people with me, I said, you're reading the pasuk wrong, right? Kaes chaya. The one you have now as a chaya, right? Ulusara ben. That's a laban a kind. That's a laban azin. He's going to have a kid. Kaes chaya. So how do we get into that? What? How do we get into that? He doesn't get out, right? You're all fogging up. Yeah. That you find. You do find that. You find that they're already by the offer already. There's a mitzvah. Yeah, I guess it's misyachis to the chasna. I guess it's Mizach the Chazan. I don't know. I know. I'm going to hear all the little Shana Mishayna kindlech over here. I'm going to start pulling out like Shana Mishayna. Right? I know. No, but yeah, okay, I don't know. But and then all the old men like me. No, we're always going to be Shana Mishayna. I really hope my wife doesn't watch these. What? Sorry? No, okay. So mitzvah matana and Shabbos, if it's done with tzarich. Let's not. Yeah. In Rabbi Akiva's case, it's a gufa, right? Yeah. What? A bar mitzvah, you don't find as a mitzvah to make the bar mitzvah boy happy. I'm asking, it's a nice thing, and after, but you know, okay. Well, I know, but okay, let's go back to that. I don't know where else we're going to allow this, right? Now the point is that Rabbi said, the point is that the Orach Shabbos chapped right, that you can't go further than somewhere where we consider it to be a simcha, right? At first I was going to come in today and argue on him and say, I don't know why he says only Yom Tov, it's on Shabbos too. I can chap his talking right. It's only where there's something of simcha, right? Only something. Now, and that there's no mitzvah to give a present for pidyon of that, right? There's no simcha, not that time. I'll compare him like this. Now, I say, okay, now that's the hours. Let's get business here. It's one more hour. Shmir Shabbos in Perek Chaf. I wrote here Sif Yud. I think that says Ha'orach of Hey. He talks about the case we spoke about yesterday. The woman is embarrassed. She has the hammer on the table. She's embarrassed. Listen closely, because every case could be a different nuance, right? Yesterday we said they asked Moshe, there's a pen on the table. She started screaming Kavod Shabbos. He said, screaming Kavod Shabbos is not enough of that matter, because it's not the siachis to the mokim. Moshe said that's not enough of a reason to move the pen. The mokim is not ruined. He didn't like that. Moshe didn't go for that. Okay. Let's say she's screaming, it's nicht heimish. We screamed yesterday, no, it's too bad, right? You get a gartel instead. Busha. Now she's screaming, Busha. I'm embarrassed. So yesterday I said, I don't believe that's Mesiachis to the Mokim, that's Mesiachis to the person. So now I see the Shmir Shabbos Kilchus, he says the same thing. He says, no way. And myself, you can uproot all of Muksa. Every case, we're going to start look. Why is the heritage of busha more of a heritage of a person feeling like I'm going to lose my item? Okay, so that's no way. It's got to be a klishim lachlayisad, but something catch it to the gufa. It has to be arachava. We could be marchiv gufa. But I told you, don't get. When you see the Shmir Shabbos, I saw the Shmir Shabbos brought down, and it said, "Mamish my case." He said, what happens if the lady says, I won't go into that room, I'm not going into that room, there's a hammer in there, and I won't go into that room, it's not Shabbostic, I won't go into the room. So he brings the Shmir Shabbos, says this case is Aser. There's no Shmir Shabbos that says this case is Aser. The Shmir Shabbos was talking about where she was embarrassed. But if she says the magic words, I can't go into the room, now we have to don the Shaila. I'm not saying that the answer is that it's Pashat, it's Mutter. I'm just saying, but it's a different Shaila now. Now she just ruined the Makim. She just said that the Makim is ruined. But let's hold off on Shaila. What I spoke about yesterday, and I just plan on, going back there. I'm just trying to show you that it's not mefurish. Okay? I'm also not that it is somewhat of a mishigas. It's a sheni, right? It's a sheni. If the same woman would say, the air conditioning, the fan is blowing on me, and I therefore need to turn away the fan from me, which we would be makel on, because the makim's getting ruined. So what's the difference if it's getting ruined with air, and what's the difference if it's getting ruined with, I can understand it's when it's getting ruined with just a feeling. So then the makim is fine, it's your feeling, so work on your feeling. But she's saying, I can't come into the room. Okay, it could be she needs therapy, but that's going to take time. That takes time, right? And then, so, I don't know. Therapy. I don't know if that's so. It's something to think about. Okay, the mice like this. Okay, now we start this year. Okay, are they still seeing me or no? I think they're okay. How do we know if they're seeing? They're seeing me. Everything's fine. Okay. So let's start this year. Okay, now the shaila is like this. This is the big shaila. But the Mishnah Berurah did over here. We have to try and figure out how far to go with this Mishnah Berurah. The Shabura over here tells us, in Sivkot Yud Beis, we started talking about this the other day, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed 2 over here. 2 more hours. No, 2 more hours. Let's say like this. Let's say, what would you say in this case? You want to move a Kli Shemachtal Yisr to make it that the place should be dark. I guess you want to take like I'll give you an example. I don't know, you take like a primitive Shabbos lamp. They have those old Shabbos, the real Shabbos lamps, you just move that thing, right? Right there, you're not touching the muktzah at all, so it's no problem, right? And the Gada will have to see. They have these new ones. The ones they have like an arm, right? And they have like a shield, and you go like this with the shield, right? So I'm not going into it now. We're going to learn in Mitzvah Shem when we get to evil muktzah. A lamp and a light in a lacha, the pais can take on, is considered a muktzah machlis gufa. It's not kli shemachlis yes. Why? We have to see, but that's what they take on. They take on that, they take on that a lamp is like a fire, even though it's not a fire because it has no fire at all, whatever. But for whatever reason, they take on that lights, lamps, these things are keli, are muktzah machlis gufa, which you can't move now, let's start gufa now, it's like cold. Right, the old ones, I think. There's a light bulb in there, and then they have that encasement. That encasement is something that just comes in and out. It's not touching the lamp itself. It's a separate piece. But you turn it around, it didn't move anything. Everything's fine. I called to say it right. I might like move a little bit or whatever, but what I'm touching is the davar mutter. It's not one piece, obviously. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's not one piece. It's 2 separate pieces, right? So what you're moving is a davar mutter, right? Maybe derech agav something moves as a result of it, but that's fine because you're moving the davar mutter, and it's a total davar mutter. It's a kli shemachtal yisr. It's davar mutter. That's no shaila. They have these new Shabbos lamps. Anybody know what I'm talking about? They have like an arm, and you put it in a certain exact position. And their assumption is you're not going to be moving it like this and like this and like this because it's a lamp, so you're not allowed to. First of all, it's a michshel gadol because most people have no clue, right? They just think it's a Shabbos lamp and they sprinkled on it some baptized water or something, or mikveh water. Yeah, sorry. They sprinkled on it some of Yashka's holy Wasser, and and now they'll move it up. Okay, but let's say forget that. Let's say you're actually going to read the paper that says, don't move the lamp. All you're allowed to do is move the shield. All you're allowed to do is move the shield, right? Mine said, I think I checked it 17 times. I think. Every single time someone brought it to me, I take it, I move the shield. Every single time you move the shield, the lamp moves. It's a very thin thing. It's just not shaykh. So you're always moving the muktzah. The difference between this one and the old Shabbos lamps, we have to bring it in order to understand what I'm saying, but the old Shabbos lamps was a separate piece. So you're just moving that piece. So who cares if something moves there? I got that. Here, it's a part of the lamp. So when you move that shield, it always moves the mashu, and you're not allowed to move the mashu the last time I checked. Well, tilta minatzad on the muksa. This is the muksa. It's connected. It's the muksa. Tilta minatzad is when you're not moving the muksa. Here's the muksa itself. It's muksa. It's like moving a hammer. It's like partially moving a hammer. So it's I don't know. I think it's a mechshel, but we'll get there. But how do I get into it? Oh, because the shah is like this. Let's say in the olden days you didn't have a kli shemachtal yisr. You didn't have a fancy Shabbos lamp. So you had a light. And you want to cover the light. You want to move a kli shemachtal. I don't know what the case is, but this case Rabbi is talking about in Hey Chav Gimel. You want to take a kli shemachtal yisr to block light. You can think of a case. Anybody have a good case? Huh? What? Yeah.
So the only purpose for that color
is for a davar mutter. That's a kli shemachtal yisr. It's a separate piece. Okay, whatever it is. Because you take a big mixing bowl. I don't know what. Okay, you take a mixing bowl. There's a light coming in. Well, Sid has lights coming through it, but you have a big mixing bowl, which is what's a mixing bowl? Everybody say, what do you do in a mixing bowl? You wouldn't realize this, right? What's a in the Rabbi say, when you knead dough, right? When you knead the dough, so. When you knead the dough, so where do you knead her? Inside a mixing bowl, right? You think a bowl, like you think to yourself, it's like a davar mutter. It's used to enable me to do an isser. That's a good example of a kli shemachtal. Let's say it's the biggest bowl in the house, so I need that bowl to go and put things in or whatever. I don't know why or whatever. Fine. So then it could be fine. So here I take this huge bowl and I want to put it over. You make your own. You can't find the piece of the Shabbos lamp. So you're allowed to take this bowl, it's the biggest bowl you have, and you want to put it over. So the Kli Shemalach Al Yisr, the tzarech what? The tzarech what? What's the tzarech? That's our gufay tzarech mekayma. What's that? Yeah, it's our gufay, right? I also thought it's tzarech gufay. I also thought it's tzarech gufay, but I also thought okay. I think it's also tzarech gufay. I think it's tzarech gufay. Said the Shlomo Zalman. I just want to mention the marmokim of something I said over, that if there's tefillin in the room, you're allowed to take out the tefillin and be able to have tashmish. So the Shlomo Zalman brings this sefer called the Yam Yisachar. I looked into it, this sefer Yam Yisachar got a haskama from the Shagas Aryeh. Shagas Aryeh is the biggest, right? So it must be a sefer that, so Shlomo Zalman brings this sefer, and that's his example of tzarech mekayma. He's our Rebbe, which taught us to be marchiv tzarech mekayma. He was the one that taught us how far we can go with tzarech mekayma. Right, that's that. And Ramosha Chabez, he tells us also what we spoke about, that to move a fan away. So this is the problem I have a hard time with. Ramosha says you're allowed to move the fan away. Why are you allowed to move the fan away if it's ruining the makom? What's the answer? What would we have said? Tzarech mekayma, right? Ramosha says you're allowed to move the fan away when it's blowing on you. He says because it's called tzarech gufay. So I saw one sefer on Muktzah. He says what's Ramosha talking about? It's not a tzarech gufay. If Moshe would have written, then it would be right, but he writes Gufa. So Rabbi Spire says maybe this is Aruch HaShulchan is what Rabbi Moshe was referring to. That's when the Aruch HaShulchan talks about Gufa, he refers to the Gufa Shel Adam, which would be a big chiddush. That means that Rabbi Moshe. It's interesting. It's a few differences. It's a big enough community because it means, first of all, why didn't Rabbi Moshe want to say it's a tzarech of the makom, that the makom is getting ruined? Why doesn't Rabbi Moshe want to say that? It's also interesting, right? So the makom is ruined. It means this area is ruined. That's as far that we've been saying till now. Okay, Rabbi Moshe seems to say not like that. Number one, but number two is you'd see another thing here. That Rabbi Moshe seems to be learning Sarech Gufay is Gufay Shel Adam, which is negative the Mishnah, and it's Rashi says not like that. It's interesting. It's something to come back to. I mean, we have to use this. Yet Mitzad Sheni, Rabbi Moshe told us Gufay Shel Adam, but Rabbi Moshe told us Kavod Shabbos isn't enough. Yeah, but that's not me. It's God. Right? So Kli Shemalach Al Yisr is not mutter. It's Sarech God. Okay, it's Sarech Kavod Shabbos. So it's not Shabbos Malkut. It has to be somebody with fleishiks, with finger and toes and ears. What do you say? That was the case. Rav Moshe's case was that it was blowing on you. I mean, maybe Rav Moshe just meant I wanted the air to go. No, but he was talking about the case. Rav Moshe was talking about the case that the air was blowing on me. It's interesting way of looking at it. Hear what he's saying? He's saying that interesting. It doesn't sound like that from the truth. I have to see the words in the truth. The problem is, you're right, because these truths are not something he wrote. It's something he said over, so we don't know. It's interesting then there'd be no shai saying that he's turning it away because he doesn't want it on him. He just wants it in the room. That's an interesting way of looking at it. What? Come again? Yeah, but it is in the room. But why are you turning it away from you? The reason I'm turning it away from me is because I don't want it on me. I'm not convinced. Then we'll see afterward what he says. What? Come again? So that's a good example. Let's say there's a smell that you don't like, right? So then what's that? Let's see. That's probably gufay. You're using the fan to push away the smell. Right? Using this fan, that's a usage of the fan. That's a klishmak. It's the gufay of the fan. Then I certainly would hear it more. Okay. So let's start this year. Okay, we have like 5 minutes. Okay, so like this, So the Mishnah Berurah told us, Mishnah Berurah tells us that that's not such a big chiddush. This Mishnah Berurah says that you have to use a different hot cup. Okay, everyone hold off on child's for a minute. Everyone hot cup. Give you something very interesting to think about now. The Mishnah Berurah says, "If you cut your base over here, a big chiddush. It's a chiddush that is not found in any sefer before the Mishnah Berurah. That's a Pesach sefer. That says in Rabbi Moshe Har, he was also going Olam. He was Chaim said he was one of the biggest. Chaim Salvage said he was one of the biggest Lamdanim of his time. Rabbi Moshe Har, but it wasn't known as one of the Pesachim. So I'm saying this is one of the few times you see the Mishnah Berurah takes a stand on something on his own, and an earth-shattering chiddush. That means that I could ask 500 questions on the Mishnah Berurah. And every one of them, you have to say the same thing. There's 500 questions. The Mishnah Berurah says over here, if you have the ability to use something else, you must use something else. Those are the words in the Rebbe Umayri. Shein lo kli heter l'tashmish zeh. He has no other kli heter. Te'ila v'achi ein lo l'shtamish b'kli zeh. Because if not, you shouldn't be using this kli. I could have 500 questions on the Mishnah Berurah, if not 5,000. How could it be that every case over here, no one said, try to get something else, try to get something else, try to get something else. Every Gemara, nobody said, try to get something else. It's okay. So in every one of the cases, you'll say that the Mishnah Berurah is Raya, is a Raya Berurah, and the Mishnah Berurah, we spoke about what is Raya, we'll see in a moment, and that's going to be the answer. The Maisa, there's a Rashi that maybe is a Raya to the Mishnah Berurah. Rashi says in the beginning of the parak in Kol Kalim that you're allowed to take a needle to open up the lock on the door, right? Who's this guy? Some thug, some hoodlum? What is this case over here? He's opening a lock on the door. So the answer is, says Rashi, it's talking about that he lost his key. Rashi says that the person takes a needle to open up the lock on the door. Says Rashi, the case says he lost his key. Thank you, Rashi. Who cares? Who cares? That's not Rashi's job. Who cares why he's taking a needle to open up the door? It sounds like the Mishnah Berurah. It sounds like he's saying it must be talking about that he lost his key. Because otherwise you don't have a right to use a needle. A needle is a klishma l'achta l'yeser. What gives you a right to use a needle? So from here it would be a raya to the Mishnah Berurah. It always bothered me. Why is the Mishnah Berurah not bringing this as a raya? It's a very stark raya. Why does Rashi have to tell me why he's using a needle? Who cares why he's allowed to use a needle? Because klishma l'achta l'yeser, they never asked it. So you would see from here, shtickle raya to the sheet of the Mishnah Berurah. I call it the sheet of the Mishnah Berurah because he has no predecessors. Okay, so but that's our law. The Mishnah Berurah says you have to try to find something else. Okay, big problems. I asked one question the other day. Let's ask another question now. Okay, so the Mishnah Berurah brings a raya. What's the raya of the Mishnah Berurah? Korban Pesach. It's not the Mishnah Berurah. By the case of the Gemara of Korban Pesach, he had these sticks, and they are kli shemakta leheter. That's what it says in the Gemara. That's what it says in the Mishnah Berurah. And you take the stick, and you put it between you and your friend, and then you put the lamb on the stick, you put the sheep on the stick, and then you mafshit the sheep. You do afshata. Says the Gemara that Rabbi Lazar's shita is don't do that. Use your hand on Shabbos. When Korban Pesach is Chal on Shabbos, when Erev Pesach is Chal on Shabbos, use your hand. Why should I use my hand? Because why get involved in getting the heter? Even klisha malachta leheter requires a heter. It's not like it's up to mutter. There's also something that there was a heter. You're allowed to move klisha malachta leheter for this purpose, for that purpose, but not indiscriminately. You're even allowed to move a klisha malachta leheter to save the kli, but not just indiscriminately. So if I can avoid using this kli, which shmeks a chesser, has a shame mitzvah to it, right? Has a shame of a heter. So then use your arm instead. Zok the Mishnah Berurah. That's my raya, that if you could avoid using a klishma l'yeser, you should avoid using a klishma l'yeser. Rabbi say, whose sheet did I just say? Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar. There's another man damar. He's called the Chachamim. Rambam. The Rambam in Hilchos Korban Pesach. Paskins like the Chachamim. You know what he says? What you do when Korban Pesach is Chal on Shabbos. Daini, you could use the stick. So Agufa. Sagufa. We don't even paskin like Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar said to take the stick and use the stick, use your arm. And from there, said the Mishnah Berurah, avoid using kalim if you could avoid using kalim. I have a Rabbi Lazar that says that which is the psak Allah. Use your arm. You could use the stick. Big kasha. So this requires us. Okay, you like the kasha? Does everybody like the kasha? It's a big kasha, right? Okay, now I'm going to ask you another kasha. This kasha is unbelievable. You know, sometimes you want to bring rayas that maybe Chelik Ches for Moshe didn't write, or whatever. This could be a raya. You know. So they asked of Moshe, how hard do you have to? How much Mesiras Nefesh darf man haben for this Mishnah Berurah? People Mesiras Nefesh darf man haben. You know, like they asked of Moshe a question. Do you have to go to a neighbor? You don't have a nutcracker. Okay, so you have a hammer and you're sitting there in the coconut looking at you, eat me. Right? And then you really want to have to go to a neighbor? So Moshe said, no, nicht as a fight. Going to a neighbor? But that's already, this is too much. Right? Says Moshe, I don't have to work so hard. Right? He says, and Moshe is medayik, the diukim of the great guy of Moshe. He says, he's medayik in the Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah says, umayri she'ein loy. What's the diuk? The ein loy. Moshe, the king, Rabbi say, the king. He says, why doesn't, listen to how much he loved the Mishnah Berurah. He says, why doesn't the Mishnah Berurah say, umayri she'ef shalahasik? I did my own little search over here in the Mishnah Berurah, and I saw there are places where he said those words. I thought maybe it's not a big Moshe the king. He says, we're talking that he doesn't have the hammer, right? So he says, why doesn't the Mishnah Berurah says that he can't acquire one? He can't be masig, he can't get one. So Moshe, because no, that far you don't have to go. If you have one, so then you got to get yours, okay? But to go as far and to go, you don't have to be matriach so much. That's what he said. First of all, I don't understand fully. Rabbi Badner, who's writing these tshuvas from Moshe, in his book, when he writes over the psak, he writes that you don't have to go to a neighbor and you don't have to go to another room to get the hammer. Yes, you do. Of course you have to go to another room. That's exactly what Moshe is coming to say. He's saying you don't have to go to a neighbor, but you for sure have to go to another room. So I don't know what exactly happened over here, but like that. Okay. But anyways, okay, that's a good shot. Okay. So what's the cash on going with Moshe? Who has a fabulous diak, no? Rabbi say, you're gonna have to, in the zoo, there's a place in the zoo where they have you can pet the little creatures and everything. You go in there and whatever, right? Sometimes like some more aggressive chevron, they start picking them up and they start hugging them or whatever. That's how it goes, right? Go next time you go to the zoo, take this little shawarma over there, right? Put him on your arm. Put him like this. Get your friend next to you, put your arm out like this and put him and try and hang him on and see how heavy it is. It's very difficult. No, you can do it. No, I don't think so. No, you can do it. But you can do it. You won't even kill a mosquito, right? You can do it. Again, it's so difficult, right? Rabbi say, of them, the raya. The raya of the Heilige Chafetz Chaim. What's the raya of our Rebbe the Chafetz Chaim that you have to not use the hammer and you have to use the nutcracker if you have a nutcracker? The raya is that you have to go out of your way and not use a stick and instead use your arm. Use your arm to put a dead goat, sheep, whatever, right? Who would do such a thing? Isn't that a tircha neira? Isn't that an unbelievable tircha? So then, yes, I do have to be matriach harbe. There's a sefer called the Ksais HaShulchan. In the Ksais HaShulchan, he says, you have to be matriach according to this Mishnah Berurah. He goes on, he wants to argue the Mishnah Berurah. He says, why do you have to be matriach for the Mishnah Berurah? According to the Mishnah Berurah, if you have any Avsharius in the belt. And Moshe says, no, but he has a diak in the Mishnah Berurah. And he was also the king. Right? So what do you do? No? It's a big bomb. So let's see. Maybe both these questions, they can answer each other. There's some sefer in Shabbos on Daf Kuf Chav Daled. Listen what the some sefer says. Such a wonderful idea. The some sefer says, we don't like making the machlekes Rabbi Elazar and the Chachamim such a big machlekes that the Chachamim say that's what their fight is. The Chachamim say that you could use he wants the base is a mirror like this. That the Chachamim say you could use a stick, and the Rabbi Elazar says use your arm. What's this fight? What's this machlekes? Listen to Moir Dikavart from some sefer. Miri says the same idea. Listen to Moir Dikavart. They all agree that you have to try to get something else. Remember, I asked the question. We don't paskin like Rabbi Elazar. We paskin like Chachamim. Yeah, listen closely. Such a nifla dikazach, right? Of course, we paskin like Chachamim. I've we paskin like Chachamim. Right? But Rabbi Elazar and Chachamim are not having such an incredible machlekes. The Chachamim all, you don't have to get something else. And Rabbi Elazar, no, you always have to get something else. Everyone agrees you have to get something else. Yeah, this might say everyone agrees you have to get something else. But what? Rabbi Elazar, and you have to work very, very hard to get something else. You have to be matriach to get something else. That was where the Chachamim argued. The Chachamim said, no, that far you don't have to go. To take a goat, a sheep, and hang it on your arm, and that's already too far. That's not called efsha. That's already going too far. That's the fight between Rabbi Lazar and the Chachamim. So now everything is nifla. First of all, yes, hey, paskin like the Chachamim. We paskin like the Chachamim, not Rabbi Lazar. The Torah says yes, because we hold that you don't have to go mamish meshigah so far. But the concept everyone agrees to. That's why the Mishabur has a raya. So now who's right? The king. Ramosha. Ramosha's right. What did Ramosha say? Ramosha. So it's Ramosha. So then now you want to know how far you have to go. You don't have to go to a neighbor. You don't have to be matriach so far. What do you mean? The case over here is that we're going so far. No, we're just bringing the raya from there. But we be'emes paskin like the Chachamim who agree conceptually that you have to try and avoid the situation and whatever. So you have to avoid the situation. Okay. But you don't have to go so far. You don't have to go so far. So that's why we agree with the Chachamim, but we agree with the idea that you have to go. That's first of all. Is everybody with me so far? Everyone with me? So therefore, halach l'maisa, of course you have to do like the Mishabur, but you don't have to go so far. So how far? Not to a neighbor. You certainly have to go if you have the hammer, if you have the nutcracker in your room upstairs, I don't know, you keep it under your pillow or whatever. So then, you have to get the nutcracker, right? But how far? You don't have to go so far. Okay, so that's nice. Now, come again? Sorry? That's a good question. You have to look for it. Mistama, that's not going so far, right? Do you have to look for it for 6 hours between Shleishik and Melchik? Okay, no, that far not, right? I guess at the point where you're getting agitated or you're losing your cheshik to have the coconut, that's when you have to stop looking for it already, right? Right? You own one and it's next door. Mistama, umayri she'ein lo, yesh lo. Right? The guy got me, yesh lo. Okay, if it's 4:00 in the morning, is it so important that you have your coconuts at 4:00 in the morning? Okay, that's a chai. Now, just one moment because he's leaving, so I'm ending the share now. But I want to just leave you one thought. This is what Mr. Cham will continue this Nikuda tomorrow. No, but I have an Abba for your Shiloh. What's the Shiloh? What?
The neighbor has a meeting in his house. What's the neighbor's house?
You have in your house.
No. You don't have a nutcracker. You just have a hammer.
Right.
Your neighbor has a nutcracker, but it's at his house, but he's eating with you.
You can tell him if you want coconut. That's an interesting case, Taka. That's an interesting case. Mr. Shab, by tomorrow we should have a clear Agdar, right? I want you to think about one thing. Let me just give you one thing to think about. Rabbi side. Listen to this. And this is Mr. Shab we have to think about tomorrow. Rabbi side. Let's say everything we're talking about now. You have to try to avoid the situation. If it's a tzarech gufa, if you could use the nutcracker, you should use the nutcracker, or any kliyate. You should use a pot, like we said, right? Use a pot if you could. Anything is as long as you're avoiding klishmak this. That's when what? When the nidoin is tzarech gufa. Don't go and use a hammer to crack the nut when you could use instead a kli heter. That's what it says over here. How much to be matriach? That we'll figure out exactly tomorrow, but it's not going to be so much. That's that. Okay. What about the tzarech mekaymai? What about the tzarech mekaymai? And then we can upfrag the ganze mux. What do I mean? Watch. I said this. Wait a minute. What would be a good case? What? Stop. There's a hammer. Stop. There's a hammer on a chair. I want to sit on that chair. Am I going to tell you go and sit on a different chair? Well, what would you think? There's a hammer on a chair right now. I want to sit on that chair. Right? Am I going to tell you sit on another chair? And you can be mechalik this case to like 50 different ifanim. It's a better chair. It's a worse chair. It's a this chair. It's the same chair. Blah blah blah. Right? What? Oh, so he says. It's something he's going to have to give over here. How do you ever do a Ramah? In every case of a Ramah, I could have avoided the situation, but it says the first in the Mishabur, it's cut into Zion, I could do a Ramah. I understand there's a problem over here. Now, before I continue, I'm going to leave you one thought. There's no way that it's going to be us. It's impossible. What the svara is, we'll have to figure out. Should I prove it to you? It can't be. I'll prove it to you. It can't be. Who wants to prove it? You want me to prove it? Should I prove it? It can't be that we're going to say, no, don't sit there, sit somewhere else. It can't be. What? You're saying you already alum this. You're not proving it. Now that could be the lumdus. It could be tomorrow we'll say that lumdus. It could be a say now. Right? Should I prove it to you? Because this is 197 Simanim. He never does this, never goes out of his way. It's right straight from the Gemara, goes against all the other poskim that never mentioned this, that never Ramaram is this. You know, I mean, I can't know this unless the Mishnah Berurah tells me. I'm not smart enough to know this because no one else said it. So the Mishnah Berurah didn't say it. He says it only on Sarach Kufay. He doesn't say it on Sarach Mekayba. So you want to now say, no, Lav Dafka. He means also Sarach Mekayba. He has to say it. He has to say it. So now it's over. Now we know it's mutter. Now we just have to figure out the star. I share you have a star. So you tell them it's star. But it has to be mutter. It's impossible because I don't know this. Mishnah Berurah says, Bein l'tzarech kufay umayri she'ein loy. Wait, Rabbi said, no, you don't realize how evil this is. Rabbi said, what came first in the Shulchan Aruch? Who knows? Let's see. The loy klishim nachli yesod mutal etaltalai. Bein l'tzarech. No, it didn't work because Bein l'tzarech kufa came first. But Bein l'tzarech kufa says the Mishnah Berurah, Mayri she'ein like riyata dilav achi ein l'shtamish b'kliza. He has to tell me this by Mekaymai. He has to tell me this by Mekaymai because I don't know this. And his whole raya from the Gemara, the case was the case of Gufa. But so, Mitzvah Shem, we have to say Svara maybe tomorrow to be Machalik. So anybody who needs help with Chufru Salach and things like that should come to me. No, but then it's Rabbi say whoever. Wait 1 second, whoever.